Chinu felt ignored as he sat at the dining table. Yuna, his adoptive mother, reminded her daughter Yuli to treat Chinu kindly since he was her brother. However, Yuli bluntly said she didn't see him as a brother, but rather as an enemy. Though Yuna asked her not to say such things, Chinu agreed silently. From the memories of the body's original owner, he knew he really was an enemy to them and even responsible for Yuna's husband's death. Yet now, he sat at their table. 11 years ago, when the SE gates opened, hundreds of thousands of demons invaded and caused massive destruction. The Empire fought back, and though the demons were pushed out, some stayed and had offspring, Chinu being one of them. At only 16, he was already a first-rank warrior. When he stood up, Yuli threw a glass of water at him, saying someone like him should never have been accepted by the Empire. Chinu stayed silent, and Yuna tried to calm her daughter. Back in his room, Chinu reflected on Yuli's anger and believed it was rooted in the loss of her father. Still, he doubted she truly saw him as scum. Though many hated him, no one had directly confronted him before. He wondered if the system inside him would finally awaken. When he covered his face with his hands, a tingling feeling ran through his horns, followed by a voice announcing the system's activation. A glowing screen appeared, revealing he could grow stronger by absorbing energy from others, specifically through their negative emotions. Though he had no opponents yet, he was thrilled. He figured he could now skip chores. But the system reminded him of his previous life, where he died in a hospital after being beaten during a fight, resulting in fatal hypoxia. While walking through the house and noticing only Yuna was home, Chinu felt relieved not to face Yuli. He decided to test the system by scaring Yuna. But as he crept up behind her, she reacted quickly, holding a knife to his neck. She asked what he was doing there, and he froze. Yuna told him she didn't need help and that he should rest. The system noted that her hatred kept her energy constantly active. Chinu realized this was how the system worked through hate. He also understood that Yuna deeply despised him. Choosing not to provoke further conflict, he quietly returned to his small room under the stairs. There, he wondered whether Yuna was truly unstable or just pretending. In the end, it didn't matter, her hatred was fueling his strength. He decided to live by the phrase, "What doesn't kill you makes you stronger." He asked the system to increase his physical strength, but as his level grew, so did the energy requirements. He considered approaching Yuna more often to harvest energy, but the risk was high. Instead, he went to Yuli's room. Unfortunately, he walked in while she was changing. Shocked and embarrassed, Yuli screamed. Chinu awkwardly joked about their similarities and flexed his muscles, but Yuli was furious. She punched him in the stomach, which the system converted into energy. She was surprised he wasn't hurt, but Chinu brushed it off and even teased her again, triggering another round of attacks. The system happily collected more energy. Eventually, she kicked him across the room, and he crashed into the wall. The system reported that 500 energy units were gathered. Lying on the floor, Chinu saw Yuna's face peeking through the door. She asked what he was doing in her daughter's room, her hatred visibly growing. Scared, Chinu apologized, and quickly returned to his room. Yuna entered, and Yuli assumed Chinu had only been joking. Meanwhile, back in his room, Chinu tested his upgraded strength. He stabbed himself with a knife, but it snapped instead of hurting him. The system confirmed he had reached warrior level 11. The next day, he went to school, considering it a new place to gather energy. Upon seeing his classmates, he flipped them off, deciding to live on his terms and embrace the hate. His plan worked. The system continuously informed him that his strength was growing thanks to the animosity directed at him. That was the moment Chinu realized school wasn't just a place for studying anymore. For him, it had become an energy field, full of potential to grow stronger. Julie, observing her stepbrother's unusual behavior, was confused. He used to hate school, yet now he looked strangely excited to be there. As Chinu entered the building with a smile, someone called his name. He turned to see his homeroom teacher, Arun, standing beside one of the most admired girls in school. She looked surprised to see him and asked how he was feeling, mentioning she'd heard he had been sick. When Chinu responded, he noticed a spike of 55 energy points and quickly figured out why Arun was probably faking concern and secretly disliked him. But then he noticed his male classmates glaring at him, and he realized the energy came from their jealousy. Deciding to use the moment to his advantage, Chinu pretended to stumble and fell onto Arun. She assumed he was still weak and offered to take him to the infirmary. Meanwhile, Chinu stayed collapsed on top of her, as the rest of the class stood in stunned silence. Looking up at her, he joked that maybe he was weak because of love and maybe school wasn't so bad after all. Later, while sitting on a bench, a group of classmates approached from behind with a large bag. They tried to ambush him by pulling the bag over his head. But Chinu wasn't fazed. He treated them as practice dummies and began testing his new moves. Even blinded, he kneed one in the face and started fighting back. Julie watched from a distance, hiding behind a wall. She was shocked to realize the boy under attack was Chinu. Angry that others were hurting him since in her mind, only she had the right to beat him up, she jumped in. But Chinu, unable to see who his attackers were, accidentally landed a punch on her face. The blow sent her flying and she collapsed on the ground. After defeating his classmates, Chinu removed the bag from his head and exhaled. Then he noticed Julie and realized he'd heard her voice earlier. He was surprised she had stepped in to help and began to think maybe she didn't hate him as much as he believed. In fact, she seemed less hostile than others. With a sigh, he acknowledged that Julie was different. Since she couldn't walk, he gently carried her home on his back. For a while, things settled down. Julie told her mother she had just messed up during training, which explained the bruises. Meanwhile, Chinu continued harvesting energy. He stirred up self-hate among classmates, annoyed teachers, and sabotaged relationships by exposing secrets. He even stopped by the principal's office and falsely claimed someone had dropped their anti-fall mom and he was kindly returning her. One day, during the Religion Day competition, a big event among local schools, Chinu arrived at school and noticed the place was oddly empty. Assuming class was cancelled, he wandered around until he heard noise from the adjacent building. Curious, he followed the sound and discovered all the students gathered in a large hall with a battle arena set up inside. To his surprise, Julie was one of the competitors. At first, Chinu thought her opponent was in trouble until he saw Julie being thrown into the air. As she fell, Chinu dashed forward and caught her just before she hit the ground. She was covered in scratches and breathing heavily. Looking up, Julie saw her opponent still standing by, the heir to the powerful White Dog Company. Laughing, he mocked her for being weak despite being the daughter of a knight from the Centurion Order. Then he asked the teacher to officially name him the new representative of the third-year class. Chinu was stunned. He couldn't believe someone had beaten Julie so badly. He remembered that earlier that day, Julie had told their mother she had business to take care of. As she passed Chinu on her way out, she warned him not to get involved and that he was probably the only one at school who didn't know what was going on. Though he didn't understand her words at the time, he now realized something much bigger was unfolding. Yuli also told Chinu that starting today, he could officially join the Knights. He found this strange, remembering that Aunt Yuna had already lifted the age restriction. So why did Yuli suddenly allow it later? After Yuli advanced to the finals of the class representative matches, their teacher Irun reminded everyone to prioritize friendship over competition. She then announced the final match to determine the class representative for the Northern District High School Tournament. The first participant, Yuli, daughter of the lead knight, a second-year student. The second, Bai, heir to the White Dog Company, also a second year. Irun wished them both good luck, and the match began. Yuli lunged forward with her sword, moving fast. Bai thought he'd block her easily, but she was quicker than expected. He barely raised his shield in time. Realizing she wasn't going to stop, he activated his magic armor. Yuli seized the chance and stabbed him in the back, aiming to end the fight quickly, but it had no effect. Bai turned and knocked her down, sending her flying across the arena. He laughed, mocking her. Did you really think you could beat a future knight in speed? But Yuli didn't back down. She broke through his armor and told him not to expect an easy win. Then she launched a powerful attack, mounted Night Strike from above. The impact was massive. Dust and smoke rose as Bai was slammed into the ground, coughing. Yuli stood over him, sword at his throat, smiling. The match is already decided, she said confidently. Irun approached to declare the winner, but before she could speak, a strange sound came from behind. Yuli tensed, but had no time to react. Bai sprang up and punched her in the back. She flew out of the ring and crashed to the ground. Smiling, Bai declared, "Looks like I win." What Yuli didn't know was that Irun had earlier visited her mother, Yuna, at home. Irun had said she wanted to remove Bai from the match, but the school insisted the fight had to happen. The only alternative was to transfer Yuli to another school. She apologized to Yuna, calling her Centurion, and expressed hope that Yuli would win the duel. But Yuna reminded Irun that the title Centurion had been banned 10 years ago. She asked Irun not to use it. Then she shifted the conversation back to her daughter, saying she trusted Irun had done her best. Irun agreed. "It's not my fault, it's the school's. If your regiment hadn't fought so hard back then, we wouldn't have the peace we enjoy today." Irun added she was doing everything she could to help Yuli become class representative and eventually join the order. But deep down, they both knew the truth: Yuli had lost. She was now in the hospital with a broken leg. Yuna thanked Irun for her honesty. As the evening grew late, Irun excused herself. Yuna didn't stop her. On her way out, Chinu offered to walk her home. As they walked through the quiet streets, Irun thanked him for the company. Chinu then asked if Bai would really become the high school representative. Irun nodded. "Unless someone defeats him by tomorrow afternoon, it's official." Her expression revealed she didn't like Bai either, but her hands were tied. She turned to Chinu. "Why are you asking?" Chinu shrugged. "Just worried about my classmates. I keep thinking about how badly Yuli wanted to win." Irun smiled slightly. "Maybe all this will help the class grow stronger." The next day, school began like normal. Bai sat smugly at his desk, ignoring the sarcastic glances from his classmates. He didn't care. As far as he was concerned, once the title was his, top universities would fight to recruit him. He was confident that he'd one day reach the top and get everything he ever wanted. He never saw his classmates as real competition. Then, the classroom door slammed open. Chinu stood there, hand still on the door, glaring. Is the so-called heir here, he said loudly. Bai looked up, confused, then realized Chinu meant him. He stood, slammed his fists on the desk, and shouted, "What are you doing here, loser?" At that moment, the system alerted Chinu energy plus 120 from Bai's hostility. Chinu stayed calm. "Call me whatever you want," he said, as the system kept pinging him with more energy points. Then, Chinu walked toward him. "I'm here to challenge you," he said, eyes locked on Bai. "Let us settle this now." Bai's expression changed. He smirked. "You really want to challenge me? Our levels are worlds apart." But the confident smile on his face said it all. He was ready. Bai was confident. Defeating Chinu would be easy, so he accepted the challenge without hesitation. The moment he agreed, Chinu grabbed him by the hair and slammed his head onto the desk. "If you're going to accept a challenge," Chinu said coldly, "show some respect and bow properly." He held Bai down with full force, making him look utterly helpless. The system notified Chinu, energy plus 621. Soon after, the boys headed to the training field. When Urun heard what was happening, she was shocked. Chinu was only at level 1.1, while Bai was at 2.7. In her eyes, this wasn't a fight, it was a disaster waiting to happen. She rushed to the scene, but the students told her both fighters were already in the ring. As a teacher, Urun knew she couldn't interfere once a match began. She could only step in if one participant was in danger of serious harm. In the ring, Bai warned Chinu, "Once this starts, there's no backing down." He looked at Chinu's plain outfit and smirked. Didn't he even bring a proper combat uniform? Couldn't he afford one, huh? Chinu smiled calmly. "You really think you deserve respect just because of the rules?" Bai's face darkened with anger. He activated a skill, Life Stream of Power. Raising his weapon and shield, he charged. "One hit, and you're finished." He was confident he stood toe-to-toe with Yuli and believed this would be over quickly. But before Bai could land a hit, Chinu stepped in and punched, shattering Bai's weapon instantly. Then, with another clean blow to the chest, Chinu sent Bai flying across the training ground. The crowd gasped. No one could believe it. Even Urun, watching anxiously from the edge, was stunned. Chinu advanced toward Bai, who was trying to get up. "In your next life," Chinu said coldly, "try being a better person." Urun decided enough was enough. "That's enough, Chinu," she shouted. "The match is over. You've clearly won." She warned him, "If you keep going, you could kill him and then both your aunt and your sister could face a court-martial." But Chinu didn't seem to hear her. Still locked in combat mode, he raised his hand again. Urun rushed to him and placed a hand on his shoulder. Instinctively, Chinu almost struck her but stopped just in time. He snapped out of it. Looking down at Bai's unconscious body, he realized Urun was right. "I'm glad you trusted me," Urun said quietly. Then she called the medical team to take Bai away. As they worked, she thought to herself, "The white dogs will definitely investigate this." But since Chinu was involved, perhaps the situation could still be managed. She turned to him and asked, "Do you want to be the school's representative?" Later that day, Urun was summoned to the principal's office. Principal Lee, a tiger, sat at the head of the room, flanked by two vice principals. "What do you think of Chinu's actions?" Lee asked calmly. Urun stood firm. "I believe Chinu acted appropriately. It was Bai who broke the rules first. He attacked Yuli." Vice Principal Lu, a servant-type beast, stepped forward. Even so, do you really believe that gave him the right to go that far? Vice Principal Ian, a sheep, interrupted. Wait. What exactly is the issue here? Bai has no problem hurting others, but now that he's the one beaten, everyone's acting like he's untouchable. Ian clearly didn't appreciate the double standards. Principal Lee leaned back. Chinu's a special student. If we rule him innocent, it could cause backlash. I have a proposal, Arun said. She raised her hand, showing a faint bruise with Chinu's fingerprints. Chinu should be made the school's representative. Ian's eyes widened. Are you saying he threatened you? You're a skilled warrior, Lu added. Are you telling us a student like Chinu could intimidate you? Arun shook her head. When I went to stop the fight and tried to revive Bai, Chinu grabbed my arm. He didn't mean harm, but the grip left a mark. A level 1 student shouldn't be able to break through my guard like that. She looked each of them in the eye. Chinu is different. And he's more than worthy of the title. Ian agreed. Then we should announce it quickly. If we wait, the white dogs will stir up trouble. Arun nodded. Chinu's victory is legitimate. The white dogs will show up soon. Good luck handling them. The men exchanged glances, uncertain now if Arun was pushing this for the school's sake, or her own. Sure enough, a few hours later, Bai arrived at the principal's office, this time with his father, the head of the white dogs. Yuna and her daughter, Julie, were already seated. Principal Lee greeted everyone with a serious tone. I believe we all understand why we're here. Let's get straight to the point. Yuna remained calm, but when Yuli saw Bai's condition, she couldn't help laughing. Bai looked utterly defeated, bruised, battered, and with a few broken bones. Julie chuckled and leaned forward. Seriously, she asked mockingly. Chinu gave you that much trouble? Bai glared at her but said nothing. Then the president of the white dogs turned to Yuna. His tone was respectful, but there was tension beneath it. I respect what you accomplished on the battlefield, he said, but I can see you're not planning to hand Chinu over. Yuna didn't respond, but her expression made her stance obvious. Seeing this, the president narrowed his eyes. You should know I only respect you because of your past. If you insist on protecting him, I'll just hire someone to take care of it. He leaned back, voice sharpening. How did you survive the war 10 years ago anyway? Your order's basically meaningless now. Julie stood abruptly, fists clenched, ready to strike. Watch your mouth. Yuna placed a calm hand on her daughter's shoulder, stopping her. Should your words, she asked coolly, be taken as a direct threat against a member of the chivalry order's family? The room tensed. Even the directors, who had been silent observers, looked alarmed. The air felt like it could ignite at any second. The president suddenly looked nervous. Wait, that's not what I meant. Then, as if scrambling to justify himself, he added, Chinu isn't part of your family. He's a demon. Vice Principal Ian, watching quietly, noted how much Yuna seemed to care about this boy. Yuna stood up and turned to leave. Since no one has a real solution, we're done here. Julie followed. As they walked out, the president made one last attempt. Don't forget Chinu isn't normal. He's a demon. One day, he'll lose control. And destroy everyone. Yuna stopped at the door. Without turning, she said, I've made a bet with someone about that. Ian's ears perked up. She continued, We're betting whether Chinu will eventually reveal his true nature and become a monster. Ian guessed the other party must believe Chinu would fall to madness. Yuna glanced over her shoulder and smiled. I'm betting he won't. But if I'm wrong, I'll be the one to stop him. Meanwhile, Chinu sat on a bus, annoyed. He sneezed and muttered, "Someone must be talking about me." He scowled, remembering how the teacher had sent him here without asking again. Across the aisle, a girl sat quietly, cleaning her sword. Her expression was tense. When she noticed Chinu staring, she stiffened in fear. Chinu smirked. He remembered how people called him the bull thanks to his broken horn. Her reaction amused him. He pressed his face against the glass between them and gave her a devilish grin. "You're right," he said softly. "I am a demon. Just biding my time, until I destroy everything. The demons are coming," he added in a low whisper. "They're already very close." The bus suddenly swerved, nearly slamming into a pole as panic spread. At that moment, Chinu felt his energy surge. The fear, the hostility, it flowed into him, feeding him. It felt good. So many people, so much energy to harvest. Then, a familiar sensation brushed against his mind, another wave of hostility. One he recognized. Looking out the window, he spotted Yuna and Yuli standing on a nearby rooftop. Chinu grinned. "So Auntie knows what I tried to pull. How thoughtful of her to send me such a nice little energy gift." He locked eyes with Yuli, and gave her the middle finger. Julie frowned, clearly irritated. That flicker of anger was enough to feed Chinu even more. He could almost taste it. The more emotions stirred around him, the stronger he became. In the arena, the host stepped onto the stage. "The high school league competition," he announced, "has officially begun." Cheers erupted from the audience. This year's event is supported by 123 sponsoring companies and the most respected chivalry orders in the nation. 24 knight regiments are in attendance today as honorary guests. As he gestured to the stands, rows of elite knights rose and slammed fists into chests, shouting in unison, "Courage and justice." Another knight regiment stood, shouting their own rallying cries. The crowd went wild. Most had never seen actual knights up close before. The air buzzed with excitement. The host raised his voice again. "Humans and werewolves, standing united. Our strength lies in our unity. We wish all participants success in leading this country to a brighter future." Then came the moment everyone was waiting for. "Let us welcome," he roared, "the 1,358 students competing this year." A thunderous applause filled the stadium as the participants began walking into the arena one by one. Their voices echoed with ambition. "I will make my name known. I'll prove that humans can be stronger than beasts. I'll make our race unbeatable." Chinu watched with growing amusement. This was a buffet of emotion, pride, hope, ego, all ripe for the taking. 5 minutes to introduce themselves, the host reminded them. "The entire continent is watching." Chinu smiled. Perfect. Soon, it was Chinu's turn to introduce himself. As he stepped onto the stage, he raised his middle finger toward the crowd and shouted, "Scum! All of you!" A shocked silence fell over the audience before erupting into gasps and murmurs. Julie, seated among the spectators, immediately looked away and pretended not to know him. The principal leaned over to Arun, clearly concerned. "Isn't this going a little too far?" Arun sighed. "Maybe. But I'm not stepping in. Not this time." The host, clearly flustered but trying to keep the event on track, quickly moved on. "Now then," he said, "let us move on to the rules of the competition." He raised his hand, and a large holographic display appeared behind him. "All participants will be transported to Nova Island for 1 week. For the first 3 days, food and water will be provided. After that, you'll have to fend for yourselves." A murmur rippled through the crowd. Tens of thousands of monsters have been released across the island, beasts pulled from the demon gates, nicknamed finishing machines. They are divided into 5 levels of strength. The hologram shifted, displaying monstrous figures covered in glowing orbs. Each monster carries special energy balls. The more you collect, the higher your score. At the end of the trial, the top 100 students will qualify for the final battle in the arena. The host raised a small glowing orb between his fingers. These energy balls also function as emergency beacons. If you're in life-threatening danger, you can use it to teleport out. But be warned, using the emergency feature means disqualification. He paused for effect. These devices also monitor your vitals. If your physical condition drops too low, you'll be automatically removed from the game, and disqualified. The host stepped aside. "Now prepare for deployment." A tall man stepped forward and activated a teleportation skill. A vast, transparent dome appeared above the students, pulling them upward like they were being swallowed by the sky. In the next moment, they found themselves seated inside a large aircraft, flying toward Nova Island. Chinna glanced around, intrigued. "So that's how they do it? Interesting. But the peace didn't last. There's a demon on board." Someone shouted. A group of students had recognized Chinu. They stood up, glaring at him with weapons ready. "He's dangerous." One yelled. "We can't let him live." From the viewing chamber, Yuna and Julie were watching the feed. Julie turned to her mother. "Do you think Chinu has a shot at making it into the top 100? Yuna shook her head. "No, I don't." Julie frowned. "Why not? He's stronger than me." Yuna's gaze stayed fixed on the screen. "Because it doesn't matter how strong he is. He's from a bloodline associated with demons for generations. The others will never let him rise." Julie looked back at the screen, silently disagreeing. "Chinu isn't like them. He's not what they think he is." Back on the plane, the first attacker lunged. "We'll offer your head to the fallen warriors." Wait. Chinu raised his hands. "I was just joking. I'm not really." He didn't finish. A foot slammed into the side of his head. "I don't care what you are. You're a threat." Chinu's expression darkened. "Enough." In a flash, he retaliated. A punch to the jaw sent the first attacker flying. In seconds, the rest of them were sprawled across the cabin, groaning. Chinu strolled over to a fallen backpack, picked it up, and looked around with disgust. "You're all just trash." His energy surged, fed by the hatred directed at him. It felt incredible. Without warning, he smashed the floor of the aircraft with his fist. The reinforced metal cracked, then shattered. A portal opened, and everyone began falling screaming. Chinu, completely calm, activated his parachute and floated gently down. Around him, the world spun as chaos reigned. "This energy ball really is handy," he thought. He landed in a dry, mountainous area. Sand blew through the rocky terrain. As his feet touched the ground, Julie smiled from the viewing platform. "He's okay." The president, meanwhile, sat in stunned silence. He had just watched Chinu effortlessly take down his school's elite students. He survived, the president muttered, almost as if waking from a bad dream. That's when someone in the observation hall shouted, "The Phantom Bull, a level 3 beast!" It's noticed him. On the field, Chinu stood still, completely unaware of the massive beast looming behind him. Steam hissed from its nostrils as the creature pawed at the ground. Julie, watching anxiously, whispered, "Turn around, Chinu." Chinu grumbled to himself. "Ugh, why are there so many bugs here?" He swatted at his back, annoyed by the stinging insects. Behind him, two bulls charged. Then thud. Crash. Chinu blinked and turned. The bulls lay unconscious at his feet. He muttered. "Did I do that?" In the command center, the directors were stunned. "He wasn't this strong before," one said. "Was he?" Another director narrowed his eyes. "He was raised by Yuna, the legendary heroine." "It makes sense, but I want to test him more." Meanwhile, Chinu had found a quiet spot to rest. He pulled out a glowing red orb. To everyone's horror, he took a bite. "He-s, eating it," a teacher gasped. "He-s eating the energy ball." Chinu chewed thoughtfully. "Huh. Not bad." He glanced at the meat he'd collected. "Useless if I can't cook it anyway." After cooling off, he stood and stretched. "All right. Time to earn some points." He headed toward a cave, found a bear's den, and without hesitation stole 2 cubs from their mother. Later, he climbed a rocky cliff and took an eagle's egg to make scrambled eggs. The crowd watching him was speechless. Who is this guy? But before Shasha could make another move, Chinu had already appeared right in front of her. His speed was overwhelming. He broke through the dust and flying stones as if they weren't even there. Shasha's eyes widened in surprise as she saw him charging like a bullet. She tried to raise her sword to defend herself, but it was too late. Chinu spun his body and slammed his fist into the ground, sending out a shockwave that knocked her backward. Shasha hit the ground hard, gritting her teeth in pain. She had never been overpowered like this before, and her anger flared even more. But Chinu didn't give her time to recover. He leapt into the air and dove down like a hawk, aiming to land a finishing blow. Just before his fist connected, Yu and Chi jumped in from the side, pulling their sister away just in time. Chinu landed with force and looked at the 3 of them. He let out a heavy sigh and spoke in a serious tone, "We don't have to fight like this. I never intended to hurt anyone." Lan, who had remained quiet all this time, finally stepped forward. She raised her hands to signal for calm. "That's enough. This has all been a huge misunderstanding," she said. Shasha was still shaking with anger, but when she looked at her frightened younger sisters, she finally lowered her sword. "Fine," she said quietly, "but if you touch them again, I won't hold back." Chinu nodded, replying calmly, "I understand." Meanwhile, Julie and Yuna, who had been watching from a distance, looked amazed. Julie whispered, "He's not just some ordinary guy. He took all that without magic or weapons." Yuna nodded slightly, her eyes filled with curiosity. "Maybe, he's more than just human." But by the time the girl realized what was happening, Chinu was already behind her. He grabbed her by the neck with a smirk and admitted he had tricked her. Observers of the fight immediately criticized him, saying it was an unfair tactic and that he deserved to be penalized. Only Yuli cheered excitedly, proud of her brother. Their mother, watching from afar, began to wonder if she had underestimated Chinu. He had shown restraint toward Yuli earlier despite having many chances to retaliate. Now, seeing him calmly sitting by the fire, she questioned whether he was truly different from other demons. After the confrontation, Chinu presented Xiaosha with a dish that had a dinosaur head poking out. He claimed it was evidence that her sisters had tried to poison him. Xiaosha dismissed the concern, saying a demon's stomach should be tough enough, and besides, looks could be deceiving. Frustrated by her response, Chinu challenged them to eat the dish themselves. The girls instantly objected. Knowing her sisters weren't the best cooks, Xiaosha attempted to change the subject and offered to lead Chinu to real food. But Chinu wasn't convinced. Without a word, he dumped the contents of the bowl into Xiaosha's mouth. She collapsed, and her sisters panicked around her. That's when Chinu began to regret not trusting her instincts. Maybe she really did know where edible food was. On the third day, a helicopter landed on the island carrying boxes of supplies. The messengers rested by the fire, one suggesting they eat the kebabs before they got cold. Suddenly, a blur dashed past them and snatched the food. Looking up, they saw Quan perched on a tree branch, happily munching on the stolen kebabs. One of the messengers tried to calm her down, assuring her there was no need to steal, they had enough food. But out of nowhere, someone struck the messenger hard from behind, knocking her out. Chinu and Xiaosha had ambushed the messengers and were now ready to claim all the supplies. They were thrilled by how much food there was, especially the chicken wings, thanks to Xiaosha. But then, you noticed something troubling. The people they attacked were from the third distribution team. They had just attacked official staff. Chinu and Xiaosha were stunned but continued eating. Realizing the severity of their actions, Xiaosha began gathering supplies quickly, urging everyone to leave before anyone found out. They hoped to blend in before the next group of competitors arrived. Just then, Lan turned and saw someone standing behind them. It was too late, they'd been discovered. Chinu reassured the girls, saying he had a plan and could even get them more supplies. Meanwhile, a group of fighters was approaching, also looking for resources. One questioned whether it was worth it, as they had been told supplies would only be delivered on the first day. But the commander believed the organizers wouldn't let everyone starve and that distribution would end only after all participants had received their share. When they arrived and saw the supply boxes, relief spread across their faces. A man dressed like a messenger greeted them, Chinu in disguise. They thanked him and asked for rations for 4. Chinu asked what tier they wanted, surprising them. He gestured to various boxes labeled by rank, explaining that this was a high-level event and the supplies were tiered accordingly. The D rank set looked the most delicious, so all 4 requested it. Chinu then requested payment, 4 energy balls. The leader was shocked, they didn't expect to pay. Chinu feigned surprise and said nothing came free in this competition. The boys hesitated, unwilling to give up their hard-earned energy balls. Hiding behind the crates, the girls watched anxiously. Quan asked if Chinu could really pull off this trade. Her sister said they had no choice but to trust him. Chinu remained calm outwardly but was already celebrating inside. When one participant asked what he had just said, Chinu pretended it was nothing. But when pressed, he whispered that using energy balls now would lead to double rewards at the end of the game, part of a secret bonus system. The girls, impressed by his clever lie, watched eagerly. The group's leader asked what other participants he was referring to, and Chinu simply pointed. Suddenly, other players emerged from the bushes, also looking for supplies. Panicked, the boy quickly handed over his group's energy balls in exchange for 4 D rank packages before the others could. The girls were amazed at how cunning Chinu was. But not everyone was happy. Organizers behind the scenes were in disarray. They demanded answers about how a participant had tied up their staff and impersonated them. They argued that Chinu should return the stolen energy balls. But the director defended him, saying it was simply a clever exchange of resources, not a violation of the rules. Deputy Director Lua praised the ingenuity, while Vice Principal Yang urged everyone to stop arguing since no rule had technically been broken. Despite this, the organizers quietly cursed Chinu for making a fool of them. Meanwhile, Chinu continued trading, a line of competitors handing over energy balls in return for supplies. But just as the last group was about to leave, a voice called out. One of the real couriers had escaped and exposed Chinu's deception. The participants, now realizing they had been scammed, were furious. Some stood frozen in shock. When they turned to where Chinu had been, he was already gone, escaped with his team. Chinu checked his remaining energy, 31.37. Lin asked how many balls he had collected, but he said the number didn't matter. She replied that any amount was fine. Suddenly, a projectile came flying toward them, but Xiao Xia kicked it away just in time. 3 women emerged from the forest. One of them praised Xiao Xia's reflexes and said it would be a waste to die with such great stats. As the 2 groups stood in the same clearing, Chinu could sense the tension rising. He greeted them with a calm expression, anticipating a showdown. Xiao Xia warned him that these were members of the Snake tribe and the Rhino tribe, both known for their combat skills. But Chinu was most wary of the hooded girl among them. The Snake girl suggested how they should divide their opponents, offering the hooded girl the tall man. But the hooded girl declined, saying tall fighters were usually slow and not worth her effort. She told her teammates to handle him while she chose a more interesting target of her own. The Snake girl was taken by surprise but didn't argue. Instead, she lunged straight for Chinu. Xiao Xia stepped in front of her sisters, whispering for them to hold back, for now their moment would come soon. The Snake girl turned to Chinu with a mischievous grin, admitting he was her favorite among the fighters. She slowly licked her spear and playfully asked if he wanted to have some fun. Caught off guard, Chinu raised an eyebrow and insisted she must be mistaken, he was from a respectable background. Laughing wildly, the Snake girl teased that the boys had been enjoying the games so far, but now it was the girl's turn to play. Without warning, she struck at Chinu with her spear. Xiao Xia shouted for him to watch out, but Chinu blocked it with his bare hand. He chuckled and admitted he wasn't clever like her, he gave people chances. Suggesting they make a little game of it, he proposed fighting until someone cried. Then, grabbing the spear with his other hand, he leaned close and jokingly called her aunt. That insult hit a nerve. Tears welled up in the Snake girl's eyes, and with a roar, she whipped him with her powerful tail, launching him backward. Now truly enraged, she attacked relentlessly. At the same time, Xiao Xia failed to notice a flying monster sneaking up behind her. A massive rhino woman loomed, fists glowing, and ready to strike. As Xiao Xia turned, the heavy punches were already descending. Meanwhile, Chinu kept dodging the Snake girl's swift attacks, mocking her for being too aggressive. He tried to keep track of her movements but struggled to predict her next move. Suddenly, she charged at him from the shadows of the forest, her spear just 2 centimeters from his face. In that split second, Chinu activated a system upgrade to boost his physical abilities. He narrowly dodged and immediately felt sharper, faster, stronger, like his senses were at their peak. He struck back, but the Snake girl twisted away, landing gracefully. Blood stained the grass. Chinu looked down to find a deep gash on his own hand, not from her weapon, but from himself. Coiled tightly around his arm was a snake. Her slippery, flexible body had shifted his aim, turning his own power against him. She walked up casually and remarked that his last move was quite a hit. This time, she said she'd fight with her legs. Chinu admitted she had more experience. She leapt forward, mouth wide open, tongue flickering like a real serpent. Chinu sprinted toward a nearby tree, not to run, but to set a trap. Hiding behind the trunk, he smiled and asked why she thought he was running. Then, with one hand, he ripped the tree from the earth and hurled it at her. She barely dodged, hissing that he should remember she was a snake. She dashed forward again, declaring it was time to punish him for his arrogance. She aimed a full-strength strike between his legs, but her spear shattered instead of hurting him. Chinu surged forward and grabbed her by the neck. He said the tree throw was a distraction, and now she was caught. Shocked, the snake girl asked how he'd anticipated her move. That area was every man's weakness. How did he resist? Chinu just laughed and told her he was built differently, strong even there. Leaning in close, he said it was time they decided how to finish this. Meanwhile, Xiao Xia battled the rhino woman, while her sisters launched an attack on the hooded girl, only to realize she was far too fast and powerful. The girl yawned, unimpressed, saying they weren't even worth her time. Then, something on the ground caught her eye, a strand of hair. It belonged to the snake girl. She rushed over and found her teammate bleeding and barely conscious. The snake girl muttered that she couldn't go on. The hooded girl turned in disbelief to see what Chinu had done. Chinu stepped forward, casually saying he'd been testing a new move. He thought to himself that her fury had only made him stronger. Looking at the hooded girl, he smiled, saying it felt like a new world had opened up for him. She finally acknowledged him as a worthy opponent and asked for his name. Grinning, Chinu replied, "I'm your dad, Chinu." But before he could finish his smirk, she vanished. A howling wind erupted around them. A hurricane formed in the clearing. She reappeared in front of him, blade pressed to his throat. "My name's Tanglian," she said coldly. Chinu chuckled, complimenting her killer outfit. Tanglian gave a small, nervous smile and told him he'd finally managed to make her angry. Chinu laughed, saying she had never seemed calm to begin with. Watching from the bushes, the dog brothers whispered a warning. Tanglian was not ordinary. She had been trained as an assassin from childhood. Her speed was unmatched. Before Chinu could even blink, Tanglian stabbed him in the leg. Then she vanished and reappeared, unleashing a series of devastating attacks. Chinu couldn't keep up. The hurricane raged again, and this time, another figure emerged, Tanjin, her rhino sister, who grabbed Chinu and slammed him into a tree. She growled that he would pay for hurting her sister. Though Tanglian tried to stop her, Tanjin charged. Her punch landed, but Chinu stood still, unharmed. Her eyes widened. Furious, she attacked again. Chinu smiled, telling her she should have listened to her sister. Then, in a flash, he grabbed her fist mid-strike. Her armor cracked and crumbled, leaving her vulnerable. She cried out, calling him an idiot, while blushing and trying to cover herself. Tanjin rushed over to protect her. As the enemy retreated, Tanglian remembered the time Chinu had once helped them before. Chinu's allies, including the dogs, gathered around, praising his cool-headed victory. Though bruised and bloody, Chinu's body was already regenerating thanks to the system. He told the girls they needed to increase their rank. Raw strength wasn't enough anymore. He thought to himself, he needed more people, More energy. With that, they journeyed deeper into the island. In the center of the island, chaos reigned. Monsters burst from the earth, enormous worms with gaping maws. Even level 2 fighters struggled to defeat them. Chinu and his group watched from the shadows. Xiao Xia asked if they should help. Chinu shook his head. No need to rush. The real boss hasn't moved yet. Then he saw it, a massive, spider-like monster with a human torso and long pink hair. Xiao Xia gasped. It was a level 5 creature, the insect queen. We can't beat that, she whispered. Who said we'd go alone? Chinu replied with a grin. He stood and shouted to the fighters below. The queen is coming. This is your only chance to take her down and claim her energy. The fighters rushed in greedily, attacking with everything they had. But the beetle queen's legs and tail swatted them away like flies. Magicians joined in, using powerful spells, but nothing got through. Chinu's eyes narrowed. He spotted something, a glowing purple crystal near her tailbone. Quietly, he shared a plan with Camille. She hesitated, saying it was risky, but Chinu insisted it was worth it. Grabbing a spear, Camille launched into the air and struck the crystal while the queen was distracted. At the same time, Chinu told Xiao Xia it was her turn. She unleashed a powerful earth punch, splitting the ground beneath the queen. Cracks spread through her body. Chinu's team charged, aiming to finish the job, but a strange sound stopped them. The queen wasn't dead. She had transformed. Her mouth widened into a gaping black void ready to consume everything. Xiao Xia turned pale. How is she still alive? The insect queen seized Chinu's head in her jaws just as the system reported his energy level had surged by 1273. Xiao Xia watched in terror as the queen swallowed him whole, but once inside, Chinu unleashed a focused burst of energy and tore his way out through the creature's mouth. He collapsed into Xiao Xia's arms and fainted, leaving her stunned. Meanwhile, Barun, observing the scene, called for medics to rush to the arena. Julie was horrified to see her brother unconscious. Later, Chinu awoke in a hospital bed, wrapped in bandages. The system informed him he now possessed the soul of a level 5 demon. Surprised yet elated, Chinu finally felt empowered. Still, he wondered why he hadn't recovered faster. Testing a new ability, he clenched his fist. His middle finger transformed into a claw surrounded by dark energy. Though a bit disappointed, he remembered he also had demonic armor upgrades to explore. Just then, a nurse and doctor arrived, and the doctor told Chinu he couldn't rejoin the competition due to his injuries. Determined, Chinu activated his self-healing skill in secret, accidentally embarrassing the nurse by touching her to drain energy. Angered, she stormed off. Later, using his powers mischievously, he caused chaos in the hospital by manipulating the wind and revealing patients' clothing, which earned him more hostility but also more power. Days later, the arena buzzed with spectators. Julie and Yuna were shocked when the announcer called Chinu's name. Still bandaged, Chinu strode in confidently, facing his opponent with a bizarre mix of politeness and trickery, knocking the man out with a sneak attack. Over the following matches, Chinu continued to win using unconventional and sometimes shameless tactics, absorbing energy from each fight. Eventually, he faced Tang Lin, a past acquaintance seeking revenge. Their battle was fierce. Tang unleashed lightning-fast strikes and powerful blows. Though stabbed through the torso, Chinu endured and defeated her with a final punch. Moments later, he caught Xiao Xia as she collapsed, warning him about space martial arts before blacking out. Soon, Chinu's next opponent, Wangjia, entered the arena. The battle intensified as Wangju revealed royal clan powers and attempted to overpower Chinu. But Chinu tricked him with dust-filled vials and counterattacked, eventually slicing off half of Wangju's horn, an act of deep humiliation. Just then, Ilios, leader of the Sheep Knights, appeared, only to be interrupted by the arrival of a massive, horned level 9 demon executioner. The demon revealed that Chinu was the son of a horned demon, shocking everyone. Chinu refused to surrender, prompting a fierce clash. Acrylic intervened, defending Chinu and taunting the demon, but he summoned fire to protect himself. As the danger escalated and level 9 demons infiltrated the arena, chaos broke out. Armed guards arrived to evacuate civilians. The tournament was abruptly cancelled, possibly as part of a conspiracy against Chinu's demonic bloodline. Xiao Xia hugged him goodbye, and he boarded a bus to leave, but the journey was cut short when burning wolves attacked, revealing a final trap laid by the demon. Suspicious of the driver's strange behavior, Chinu stepped up once again, this time, not to fight for the tournament, but to protect everyone's lives. Chinu punched the driver with his armored hand, leaving a gaping hole in the man's chest. Soldiers immediately raised their weapons at Chinu, ordering him to back off. But then the driver started laughing, his body distorted, surrounded by dark energy. He transformed into a grotesque, toothy monster. The soldiers realized they'd been tricked. The driver had always been a monster in disguise. Chinu's punch had ended the illusion. As the soldiers thanked him, Chinu shrugged it off. But then other monsters emerged, some of the passengers Chinu had attacked earlier. They weren't human either, just lesser demons. A soldier asked how Chinu had known. Chinu explained that his system had flagged hostile messages and only the driver had hated him that much. It was all a trap to ambush him. Before they could regroup, a skeletal dragon from the realm of the dead burst into the shelter, already having devoured several victims. When it saw Chinu, it paused, dropped the person it was about to eat, and blasted flames at him. Chinu barely dodged. A soldier warned him to be careful, but the dragon suddenly appeared right in front of him. The system warned that hostility was rising fast. Chinu darted sideways, the dragon gave chase. At a critical moment, Chinu leapt unexpectedly, confusing the dragon long enough that it crashed into a wall. Taking advantage, Chinu attacked relentlessly, killing the beast. Onlookers were stunned, and the system confirmed his power was growing. Chinu saw this as a training opportunity. The enemy was unknowingly helping him evolve. Not long after, military radio chatter reported a demon assault on Dog City's 4th block. No reinforcements could be sent. Hearing this, Chinu asked if the message came from a secure channel. Once confirmed, he seized the radio and declared he would handle it himself. Chinu just laughed and told her he was built differently, strong even there. Leaning in close, he said it was time they decided how to finish this. Meanwhile, Xiao Xia battled the Rhino Woman, while her sisters launched an attack on the hooded girl only to realize she was far too fast and powerful. The girl yawned, unimpressed, saying they weren't even worth her time. Then, something on the ground caught her eye, a strand of hair. It belonged to the snake girl. She rushed over and found her teammate bleeding and barely conscious. The snake girl muttered that she couldn't go on. The hooded girl turned in disbelief to see what Chinu had done. Chinu stepped forward, casually saying he'd been testing a new move. He thought to himself that her fury had only made him stronger. Looking at the hooded girl, he smiled, saying it felt like a new world had opened up for him. She finally acknowledged him as a worthy opponent and asked for his name. Grinning, Chinu replied, "I'm your dad, Chinu. But before he could finish his smirk, she vanished. A howling wind erupted around them. A hurricane formed in the clearing. She reappeared in front of him, blade pressed to his throat. "My name is Tanglian," she said coldly. Chinu chuckled, complimenting her killer outfit. Tanglian gave a small, nervous smile and told him he'd finally managed to make her angry. Chinu laughed, saying she had never seemed calm to begin with. Watching from the bushes, the dog brothers whispered a warning. Tanglian was not ordinary. She had been trained as an assassin from childhood. Her speed was unmatched. Before Chinu could even blink, Tanglian stabbed him in the leg. Then she vanished and reappeared, unleashing a series of devastating attacks. Chinu couldn't keep up. The hurricane raged again, and this time, another figure emerged. Tanjin, her rhino sister, who grabbed Chinu and slammed him into a tree. She growled that he would pay for hurting her sister. Though Tanglian tried to stop her, Tanjin charged. Her punch landed, but Chinu stood still, unharmed. Her eyes widened. Furious, she attacked again. Chinu smiled, telling her she should have listened to her sister. Then, in a flash, he grabbed her fist mid-strike. Her armor cracked and crumbled, leaving her vulnerable. She cried out, calling him an idiot, while blushing and trying to cover herself. Tanjin rushed over to protect her. As the enemy retreated, Tanglian remembered the time Chinu had once helped them before. Chinu's allies, including the dogs, gathered around, praising his cool-headed victory. Though bruised and bloody, Chinu's body was already regenerating thanks to the system. He told the girls they needed to increase their rank. Raw strength wasn't enough anymore. He thought to himself, he needed more people, more energy. With that, they journeyed deeper into the island. In the center of the island, chaos reigned. Monsters burst from the earth, enormous worms with gaping maws. Even level 2 fighters struggled to defeat them. Chinu and his group watched from the shadows. Xiao Xia asked if they should help. Chinu shook his head. No need to rush. The real boss hasn't moved yet. Then he saw it, a massive, spider-like monster with a human torso and long pink hair. Xiao Xia gasped. It was a level 5 creature, the insect queen. We can't beat that, she whispered. Who said we'd go alone? Chinu replied with a grin. He stood and shouted to the fighters below. The queen is coming. This is your only chance to take her down and claim her energy. The fighters rushed in greedily, attacking with everything they had. But the beetle queen's legs and tail swatted them away like flies. Magicians joined in, using powerful spells, but nothing got through. Chinu's eyes narrowed. He spotted something, a glowing purple crystal near her tailbone. Quietly, he shared a plan with Camille. She hesitated, saying it was risky, but Chinu insisted it was worth it. Grabbing a spear, Camille launched into the air and struck the crystal while the queen was distracted. At the same time, Chinu told Xiao Xia it was her turn. She unleashed a powerful earth punch, splitting the ground beneath the queen. Cracks spread through her body. Chinu's team charged, aiming to finish the job, but a strange sound stopped them. The queen wasn't dead. She had transformed. Her mouth widened into a gaping black void ready to consume everything. Xiao Xia turned pale. How is she still alive? The insect queen seized Chinu's head in her jaws just as the system reported his energy level had surged by 1273. Xiao Xia watched in terror as the queen swallowed him whole. But once inside, Chinu unleashed a focused burst of energy and tore his way out through the creature's mouth. He collapsed into Xiao Sha's arms and fainted, leaving her stunned. Meanwhile, Urun, observing the scene, called for medics to rush to the arena. Julie was horrified to see her brother unconscious. Later, Chinu awoke in a hospital bed, wrapped in bandages. The system informed him he now possessed the soul of a level 5 demon. Surprised yet elated, Chinu finally felt empowered. Still, he wondered why he hadn't recovered faster. Testing a new ability, he clenched his fist. His middle finger transformed into a claw surrounded by dark energy. Though a bit disappointed, he remembered he also had demonic armor upgrades to explore. Just then, a nurse and doctor arrived, and the doctor told Chinu he couldn't rejoin the competition due to his injuries. Determined, Chinu activated his self-healing skill in secret, accidentally embarrassing the nurse by touching her to drain energy. Angered, she stormed off. Later, using his powers mischievously, he caused chaos in the hospital by manipulating the wind and revealing patients' clothing, which earned him more hostility but also more power. Days later, the arena buzzed with spectators. Julie and Yuna were shocked when the announcer called Chinu's name. Still bandaged, Chinu strode in confidently, facing his opponent with a bizarre mix of politeness and trickery, knocking the man out with a sneak attack. Over the following matches, Chinu continued to win using unconventional and sometimes shameless tactics, absorbing energy from each fight. Eventually, he faced Tang Lin, a past acquaintance seeking revenge. Their battle was fierce. Tang unleashed lightning-fast strikes and powerful blows. Though stabbed through the torso, Chinu endured and defeated her with a final punch. Moments later, he caught Xiao Sha as she collapsed, warning him about space martial arts before blacking out. Soon, Chinu's next opponent, Wangjia, entered the arena. The battle intensified as Wangjia revealed royal clan powers and attempted to overpower Chinu. But Chinu tricked him with dust-filled vials and counterattacked, eventually slicing off half of Wangjia's horn, an act of deep humiliation. Just then, Ilios, leader of the Sheep Knights, appeared, only to be interrupted by the arrival of a massive, horned level 9 demon executioner. The demon revealed that Chinu was the son of a horned demon, shocking everyone. Chinu refused to surrender, prompting a fierce clash. Acrylic intervened, defending Chinu and taunting the demon, but he summoned fire to protect himself. As the danger escalated and level 9 demons infiltrated the arena, chaos broke out. Armed guards arrived to evacuate civilians. The tournament was abruptly cancelled, possibly as part of a conspiracy against Chinu's demonic bloodline. Xiao Sha hugged him goodbye, and he boarded a bus to leave. But the journey was cut short when burning wolves attacked, revealing a final trap laid by the demon. Suspicious of the driver's strange behavior, Chinu stepped up once again, this time, not to fight for the tournament, but to protect everyone's lives. Chinu punched the driver with his armored hand, leaving a gaping hole in the man's chest. Soldiers immediately raised their weapons at Chinu, ordering him to back off. But then the driver started laughing, his body distorted, surrounded by dark energy. He transformed into a grotesque, toothy monster. The soldiers realized they'd been tricked. The driver had always been a monster in disguise. Chinu's punch had ended the illusion. As the soldiers thanked him, Chinu shrugged it off. But then other monsters emerged, some of the passengers Chinu had attacked earlier. They weren't human either, just lesser demons. A soldier asked how Chinu had known. Chinu explained that his system had flagged hostile messages and only the driver had hated him that much. It was all a trap to ambush him. Before they could regroup, a skeletal dragon from the realm of the dead burst into the shelter, already having devoured several victims. When it saw Chinu, it paused, dropped the person it was about to eat, and blasted flames at him. Chinu barely dodged. A soldier warned him to be careful, but the dragon suddenly appeared right in front of him. The system warned that hostility was rising fast. Chinu darted sideways, the dragon gave chase. At a critical moment, Chinu leapt unexpectedly, confusing the dragon long enough that it crashed into a wall. Taking advantage, Chinu attacked relentlessly, killing the beast. Onlookers were stunned, and the system confirmed his power was growing. Chinu saw this as a training opportunity. The enemy was unknowingly helping him evolve. Not long after, military radio chatter reported a demon assault on Dog City's 4th block. No reinforcements could be sent. Hearing this, Chinu asked if the message came from a secure channel. Once confirmed, he seized the radio and declared he would handle it himself. In the 4th block, 2 demon girls were discussing their orders. One questioned why they couldn't kill even their captors. The other said it was because someone important to them was among the hostages. Suddenly, Chinu landed on the pink-haired girl, grabbed her, and asked if she was all right. She was instantly smitten. The green-haired girl questioned Chinu's affiliation. He claimed to be from the Demon King's convoy and showed a red dragon scale with blood. Suspicious but intrigued, they invited him to meet with another squad. The pink-haired girl clung to Chinu, annoying her partner. Meanwhile, in a cage, Xiao Xia comforted Quan, saying someone would rescue them. She was shocked to hear Chinu's voice but froze when she saw lipstick marks all over his face. She asked if he was working with the demons. Before she could speak further, the pink-haired demon claimed she found her partner. Xiao Xia accused Chinu, but he covered her mouth and whispered that he was trying to help them. The demon girl dismissed the dog's sisters as too weak to understand him and led him away. Afterward, Xiao Xia spit out a hidden earpiece Chinu had slipped her designed to tap into military comms. Soon, the military realized they were being monitored. Xiao Xia explained Chinu's true identity and smuggled device. The military organized a new squad to strike back. When volunteers were requested, Chinu hesitated but raised his hand knowing he could still gain points regardless of the mission's outcome. They were briefed by the Bone Demon, who explained that each teleportation coordinate was tied to a different demon. None led directly to the target. They would have to work it out themselves. Then they were teleported. Chinu's landing was rough. He found himself near hostile orcs. Monsters began shouting that demons would never be slaves. But guards with machine guns opened fire, silencing them. Chinu fled, finding shelter in a room where he overheard guards planning to check on a chained demon girl. Hidden behind the door, he spotted the girl gagged and restrained. Chinu claimed he wouldn't interfere and began to leave, but the girl kept making urgent noises. He tapped her forehead and asked if she wanted to speak, just as the guards arrived. Chinu climbed to the ceiling to hide. As the guards checked on the girl and began to leave, he slipped but landed with a loud thud. He had no escape. Worse, his hand had accidentally landed on the girl's chest. Furious, she made more noise. The guards burst back in, confused by what they saw. Chinu swiftly knocked their heads together and turned back to the girl. She claimed her blood was boiling, a trait of behorned demons. Chinu demanded proof, and she explained. But he teased her for getting captured despite her power. She proposed a team-up, saying demons like him weren't even worthy of serving her in the past. Chinu grabbed her neck and warned that demons gain strength by consuming each other. She panicked, but just then, his team arrived. They saw the girl and ordered Chinu to back off. He pretended he was just adjusting her necklace and handed her over. The lead demon praised him, then said it was time the sorcerer would soon open a portal. As they prepared, Chinu suspected betrayal. The lead demon stepped out and was instantly shot, torn apart by a massive bullet from a soldier wielding a colossal gun. More soldiers rushed in. The demons raised shields and fled. Chinu ran too. The demon carrying the girl was ambushed by massive elephant-like guards. He dropped her midair, and Chinu caught her. Impressed by her skill, he passed her through the portal but remained behind. A demon asked Chinu to request a fine coffin for him. Chinu crushed his skull and smirked, saying he'd ask his uncle to choose one. More soldiers closed in. Chinu knew it was time to flee. He returned alone to the mission base. The waiting demons rushed to meet him. One asked what happened to his nephew. Chinu began crying, telling them the nephew died heroically, his leg injured, calling for help in his final moments. The demons then turned to the rescued girl. She had just regained consciousness. When asked how she felt, her first words were that she wanted to meet the one who saved her and promised a grand reward. Chinu stepped forward, smiling. But the moment she saw his face, she froze in terror. After the intense battle and a series of dangerous negotiations, Chinu finally managed to secure the essence of a level 6 demon. Despite his critical injuries, he returned to the hospital, only to discover that his essence was stolen by another demon girl. However, Chinu didn't lose his composure. With a sinister grin, he revealed that he had actually implanted a curse into the essence itself. The demon girl had only two options: return the essence or die horribly. Terrified, she reluctantly gave it back, and Chinu, who had predicted this betrayal, absorbed the essence completely. His body began to boil, his veins turned black, and a system notification confirmed the integration of the power. Blood demon activated. Not long after, he used this as a bargaining chip. With the demon girl trapped, Chinu declared, "Now, for your crimes. I'll use you to heal." The girl screamed and begged for mercy, but Chinu only smiled as he earned his recovery points, whispering, "Relax, I won't kill you. But your soul, that's mine now." The next morning, the situation in the hospital turned chaotic. Officials from the top 3 universities visited Chinu, offering him wealth and prestige to join their schools. Even military men tried to recruit him. Chinu, however, acted aloof and casually asked what benefits they could offer. But Yuna had other plans. With a single call, she declared that Chinu belonged to her family's university. She handed them a high-level blood contract, forcing all other institutions to back off. Chinu smiled mischievously as Yuna clung to him, acting like a sweet girlfriend. He whispered, "You enjoy this, don't you?" Meanwhile, in the basement of the facility, Yuli was locked in a small room. Her power had been sealed, and her limbs were bound. Despite this, she kept humming softly, calmly waiting. Her thoughts were not about escape, but about her brother, Chinu. Back in his room, Chinu stood by the window, the new blood energy inside him stabilizing. He muttered, "Everything's going according to plan." As he turned away, a single unopened letter fell to the floor. It was from Yuna. Without reading it, Chinu tossed it into the trash. Yuna watched silently from a distance. Her eyes cold, but her lips smiled. "Soon, you'll remember everything, and regret it." The following morning, when Chinu went to check on Yuli, he found the room vacant. The bed was undisturbed, the window wide open, and the chains lay broken, with footprints on the window sill. Alarmed, He hurriedly prepared himself and dashed out, realizing Yuli's stubbornness was bound to cause more trouble. Nearby, a crowd of soldiers had assembled at the portal. Chinu joined them, calling out for Yuli, hoping she would respond. His shouting drew strange looks from the other soldiers. One of them remarked that no one named Chinu belonged to the Bull faction and told him to leave. Chinu explained that he was just searching for his sister, but before he could finish, someone pulled him away, making him stumble. A girl pinned him down. It was Xiao Xiao. She asked why he was there and reminded him this was a military base, not a school. Her squad arrived soon after, and Chinu explained that his sister had run away to join the army and he was trying to find her. Hearing this, they allowed him to get up and breathe. Xiao Xia asked Yu if she had seen Yuli, and Yu guessed that she might have entered through the portal. This made Chinu anxious. He questioned how someone could so easily join the army. Xiao Xia replied that Yuna was already enlisted. Chinu muttered that if he didn't bring Yuli back, Yuna would be furious with him. Lan Lan then suggested that Chinu could join their team to help search for Yuli. Quan asked Chi Chi, her older sister, why they were helping so much, and Chi Chi joked that they could always charge him later. They brought Chinu to their leader, Hyude, who asked if he truly wanted to join. Lan said he was strong. Hyude pointed at something in the distance and told him he had to lift it to prove himself. When he arrived, he saw a massive tank and realized the test wouldn't be easy. Still, with no other option, he summoned his strength and lifted it. Everyone was stunned. Hyude had only meant for him to lift a small box. Still, impressed by his feat, she said there was no need for further testing, he had already passed. Elsewhere, Julie was at the medical center where she caught the attention of General Raymond, Yuna's first love. He told her that if she truly wanted to help, she should start by working. Julie looked at him pleadingly and asked to accompany him, but Raymond dismissed her, saying her skills weren't good enough. He already instructed the guards to keep an eye on her, not wanting Yuna to suffer more loss. As soldiers and tanks moved through the portal, Xiao Xia's squad advanced too. Chinu, carrying supplies, told her that with so many people, he had no idea how to find Yuli. Just then, a massive mutant appeared, wielding a tree and a huge weapon, a level 5 threat, far more powerful than anything they'd encountered. The soldiers fired with tanks and guns, but nothing seemed effective. Suddenly, a drone soared upward. Xiao Xia was controlling it, directing it toward the monster. Chinu jumped out of the drone, activated his armor, and struck the monster before it could react. Within seconds, he landed so many hits that even Xiao Xia couldn't keep count. Eventually, the monster shattered into pieces. Chinu had used a blend of demon armor and bone demon powers. Xiao Xia was impressed, and the squad continued forward. At that moment, Chinu received a system notification, his powers could now be enhanced. He imagined himself as a 10-meter tall giant, muscles rippling as crowds cheered him on. Though still the same size, he felt stronger than ever. But something odd happened. He noticed his sisters looking away awkwardly, pointing downward. Looking down, he saw that all the energy had caused his pants to become tight in an embarrassing way. Before it got worse, a familiar voice rang out, "Yuna." She approached and asked why he was here when he was supposed to be watching Yuli. Nervously, Chinu explained he had accidentally lost her. Yuna started to wonder if he came looking for her instead, not knowing Raymond was already involved. Though she sensed he was maturing, she didn't show it. Instead, she told him to leave and not return until he found Yuli. She pulled him close and warned him not to make promises he couldn't keep. Chinu grinned and asked, "What if I don't listen?" Yuna patted his head and replied, "Then I'll deal with you myself." Encouraged, Chinu promised to find Yuli. As he walked away, a group of armed men appeared, led by Liku, the regional commander. Liku said they needed to talk. Chinu stood his ground, explaining he was just looking for his sister. In response, Liku ordered his men to aim their weapons. Surprised, Chinu quickly declared his willingness to help the country. Liku smirked, saying kids these days were clever. Yuna, watching from a distance, felt she might have already been too late. Chinu was taken to Liku's office, where Liku revealed they had located a key that could keep the space between worlds open. If the monsters got it first, they'd be unstoppable. Liku wanted Chinu to retrieve it. Chinu guessed correctly and learned that the army would distract the enemy while he went for the key. He could refuse, but Liku hoped he'd agree. Outside, Yuna met him and revealed she had assembled a team to help him escape. Chinu asked what their chances were, but Yuna handed him a wolf head medallion and asked him to give it to Yuli. When he asked if she was coming, she said no, the country came first. Chinu confessed he wasn't a soldier anymore and felt weaker, but Yuna insisted personal matters didn't matter now. As she walked away, Chinu remembered her words about revival and realized he may have missed his chance. Then, Xiaosha pulled up in a vehicle, ready to go. But Chinu threw the medallion to her and said to give it to Yuli, he still had something left to do. Later, Chinu returned to Liku's office and said he was in. Liku was surprised, given the low success rate. Chinu shrugged, saying maybe the sunrise inspired him, though it was evening. Liku gave him gear, a teleportation device, a power-storing knife, and a few other tools. Chinu wasn't impressed and asked what good it was with only a 50% chance of success. He was told he had 1 day to confirm the key's location. If they heard nothing, the army would attack the weak spot directly. Then Chinu asked how he'd get close to the target. Liku suddenly punched him. That night, Chinu was taken to a garrison prison, pretending he had attacked Liku. Though surprised, he played along, even warning the guards to watch a fellow inmate carefully. Inside, he wasn't alone, monsters were imprisoned too. They asked what he did, and Chinu joked he just got unlucky. When asked if he had a key, he said no, but then, seeing the guards leave, he pulled the bars apart with brute strength. The monsters were stunned, as the cage was built to hold 4th-gen creatures. They followed him out into the city, which was eerily empty. Chinu asked why, and a monster explained that the army had likely discovered their location and would come soon. They had been sent on a scouting mission and had to report back quickly. Chinu grinned. Everything was going according to plan. Eventually, they reached a large tent. Inside, a feathered figure and a fallen knight gave Kalin, the wish demon, vital information. Suddenly, Kalin got a message warning about a traitor demon named Chinu. She asked her partner to let the guests in. When Chinu entered, Kalin asked for his name. He said David, hiding his true identity. When she asked about his strength, he replied vaguely. But when she asked his size, he misunderstood and tried guessing her measurements. Kalin corrected him, she meant his size. He said 18, but she clarified she meant his age. He replied 18 again, which she didn't believe. Before things escalated, his ally kicked him out. The feathered figure had had enough. When Kalin touched Chinu, she sensed something unusual. As the dust settled, the demon recognized the phrase he spoke and drew an energy sword. Chinu attacked first, claiming he wanted honesty, but now it was too late. They fought, the knight blocking his hits, Kalin watching closely, Noting Chinu's speed rivaled the knight's, Chinu dodged a swing and prepared a knockout punch, but it was stopped by a tail. Kallen had restrained him. She introduced herself as Commander Kallen and invited him back. As they walked, she explained a strong monster had recently been defeated. Rumors pointed to Chinu. She suspected him and questioned his identity. Though Chinu denied involvement, Kallen admitted he was powerful and offered him a job. Chinu accepted, and Kallen explained a critical portal war zone, where she needed help. The more he helped, the more valuable and safe he'd be. Otherwise, he might be discarded. Chinu agreed, accepted a scroll, and left. He tried sending its contents to his aunt, but his phone had no signal. Kallen said the area had jammers, but handed him a special device for emergencies. He took photos of the scroll, but Kallen saw and stopped him. She found a suspicious phone in his pocket and accused him of being a spy. In the command tent, she grilled him, but his smug smile unnerved her. Chinu argued they used similar tech, and even pulled out a luxurious massage chair disguised as an item she owned. When he activated it, she was pulled into it, and assistants began a massage. Chinu kept insisting he was undercover. He showed her gadgets, an explosive watch and a pen with electric shock, saying if he were truly the enemy, he'd have acted already. Kallen was still doubtful. In a bold move, Chinu kissed her and passed her a memory-altering device. With her memory changed, she hesitated and let him go. Later, the soldiers praised Chinu for outsmarting Kallen. But when Kallen looked around, she realized the entire garrison was gone. While she was distracted, the enemy had arrived. Then she heard a sound. A fallen flame-type soldier whispered that Chinu had taken everything with him. Chinu appeared anxious as he entered the store, only to be confronted by an enraged Kallen who accused him of destroying their defenses. Without warning, Kallen lashed out, even striking down her own commander. Though Chinu tried to calm her, she continued attacking until he stopped her by grabbing her horn. Suddenly, an emergency signal summoned all demons. Kaze arrived with a mysterious device meant to protect them, but it turned out to be a disguised enemy portal. Pretending to be shocked, Chinu shifted blame onto Kaze and then secretly entered the portal to continue his mission. Inside, he encountered a massive entity who demanded his compass. After killing the creature, its soul fused into Chinu. When he emerged from the portal, others mistook him for a war ghost due to the reversed compass in his hand. He kept leaping across dimensions, narrowly escaping death from monsters and soldiers. Meanwhile, the human world descended into chaos as war between demons and humans erupted. Xiao Xia and the Dog Sisters fought valiantly and refused to abandon Chinu. Elsewhere, Kaze was captured and brought before his father, Carlos the Demon King, who executed him for failure. Carlos then showed interest in Chinu. At the same time, Yuna fought the demon Wangjia, pretending to be weak before attacking with her venomous spear. As she began to lose, she cried out for Chinu and he emerged from a portal just in time to save her. They fought together but were both poisoned by a celestial weapon. When Carlos appeared, Chinu told Yuna to hide and challenged his father. After a brutal duel, Chinu unleashed his new powers and beat Carlos down. Though both were badly wounded, Carlos began to recover until a green demon stabbed him through the chest, searching for his boss, David. Carlos died, and Chinu collapsed. He was taken to a hospital, unconscious and drained, while Yuna came to watch over him. Paraphrased summary English. Chinu felt the weight of guilt as his actions led to the downfall of their stronghold. Kallen, furious, attacked him violently, but their fight was interrupted by an emergency call for all demons to regroup. When a supposed protective device was activated, it revealed itself to be an enemy portal. Chinu pretended to be surprised, blamed Kaze, and secretly entered the portal to complete his secret objective. Inside, he battled and killed a massive creature who wanted his compass. Unintentionally, Chinu absorbed the creature's soul. When he returned, others feared him due to the eerie reversed compass in his grasp. He began dimension hopping, fleeing deadly beasts and enemy fighters. Meanwhile, war erupted between demons and humans, with Xiaoxia and the dog's sisters refusing to leave Chinu behind despite the chaos. Kaze was later captured and executed by his own father, Carlos, the Demon King, who then turned his attention to Chinu. On another battlefield, Yuna fought a vicious demon, Wangjia. She feigned weakness, then struck with a poisoned spear. Overwhelmed, she called out to Chinu and he came. They fought side by side but were poisoned by a divine weapon. Carlo soon arrived. Chinu hid Yuna and stood alone against his father. The fight was vicious. Chinu's powers overwhelmed Carlos, but the king began to heal until a green demon appeared, demanding to see someone named David, and stabbed Carlos through the heart. With Carlos dead, Chinu collapsed and was rushed to a hospital, while Yuna stayed by his side. The second trial was about to begin. Just as Chinu returned from the forest, a beautiful white-haired girl stepped onto the stage. Wearing a sleeveless robe that revealed her smooth arms, she faced the punching machine. Her eyes were calm. Without a word, she slowly pulled back her fist. Boom! The impact was deafening. The entire stage trembled from the strike. Whoa! What's going on? That girl just shook the ground. Even before the numbers appeared on the machine, the audience erupted in excitement. Then, a mechanical voice announced, 1,325 points passed. The students were in disbelief. Are you kidding me? She looks so delicate, but she scored over 1,300. Doesn't that mean she has a tier 3 beast soul or higher? Insane. She's a monster. Amid the stunned murmurs, Yuna walked off the stage coolly and rejoined her team, Tanglian, Xiaoxia, and the dog's sisters. Yuli pouted, clearly not pleased to be excluded. You're amazing, Yuna. Xiaoxia cheered, hugging her tightly. Tanglian smirked. Still not stronger than me, though. Yuna just smiled quietly, basking in their admiration. The test continued with more participants stepping up. Next, Chinu. The name rang out over the loudspeaker. Finally. Let's see if he's got more than just a loud mouth. He looks confident, but can he deliver? Chinu stepped onto the stage slowly. He wasn't tense or showy, just relaxed. He casually rotated his shoulders and stood before the machine. He took a deep breath and whispered, let's see how much this body can handle. He raised his fist. Suddenly, a sharp pain jolted through his ribs. His injuries from the past battle still hadn't fully healed. Arg! He winced, gritting his teeth. Is he hesitating? Is he scared? What's wrong with him? Ignoring the murmurs, Chinu stepped forward again. His knuckles cracked. With a roar, he drove his fist forward with full force. Crack! The entire machine shuddered violently. A visible crack ran through its steel frame. The room fell silent. Everyone stared, stunned, waiting for the score. 999 points passed. The crowd gasped. Just 1 point short of 1,000. That's the same score as the girl before. No, hers was 1,325. But he was injured. Whispers turned into buzz. Some were amazed, others skeptical. Amazing, Chinu. Xiao Sha clapped from the sidelines. Even Tang Lian gave a slow nod. That was decent. He's strong, Yuna said softly, eyes narrowing. After the trial, the students moved into formation trials and team selections. Chinu, due to his late arrival and poor ranking in written exams, was placed in Class C. I can't believe it. I'm in the lowest class, he sighed. Most students form teams of 4 automatically. However, Chinu wasn't invited by anyone. I heard he got 999 points. Yeah, but he's in Class C. Maybe he just got lucky. No one wants a teammate who might drag them down. Maybe he paid someone to let him pass. Idiot. The gossip stung. Chinu clenched his fists but stayed quiet. That's when a voice called out. Hey! Are you looking for a team? Chinu turned to see a black-haired girl walking over with a lazy grin. You want in? Chinu rushed at Xiao Sha, who froze in shock. She quickly summoned a stone wall, but Chinu shattered it with a single punch and pinned her down. Julie, watching nearby, was stunned. She hadn't realized how powerful Chinu had become. Despite being his classmate, she didn't hesitate to attack. She summoned her wolf and launched a fierce assault, but Chinu remained unshaken. Both Xiao Sha and Tangan watched in disbelief. When Yuli got too close, Chinu grabbed her leg and slammed her into a wall. Yuna, seeing that her daughter was in danger, halted the test and ordered everyone to line up. She scolded the girls for their poor teamwork and lack of coordination, pointing out how easily Chinu had overpowered them. To improve their abilities, she handed out real weapons and ordered them to start specialized training immediately. Tang Lian, insulted, claimed she didn't need any training as a Mantis tribe warrior. Yuna smirked and told her to prove it by fighting Chinu. Lian hesitated after making eye contact with him, but before the fight could begin, an egg suddenly flew at Chinu, signaling a new type of training. Yuna explained that the egg test was about control. Students had to hit the wall without breaking the egg. Chinu looked skeptical and asked if this kind of training really worked. Yuna silently showed the unbroken egg in her stomach as proof. Suddenly, energy surged around Chinu, cracking the ground beneath him. He felt a new wave of power and realized this test was crucial for his growth. The group moved outside for additional training. Yuna watched Yuli closely, noticing her slow movements and growing concerned. Meanwhile, Tangan proudly announced she had completed the egg challenge. Back at home, Chinu struggled with the test for days. He ended up covered in raw egg smell but finally succeeded and checked his system. New skills had been unlocked. Yuna entered Chinu's room and threw him a paper. Time for something new, she said. It was a mission from the academy, complete with rewards. She encouraged him to master long-range attacks. Chinu nodded and leapt out the window, determined to beat the others to it. Yuna warned that many already knew about this mission. As Chinu traveled with the other students, someone spotted a flash in the sky. An explosion hit the bus, flipping it over. A sniper opened fire, targeting the commander, but the teacher blocked the shot. Realizing the teacher was a strong barrier, the sniper retreated. The teacher declared that reinforcements would arrive in 3 hours, and the students decided to follow him. Chinu caught up with the sniper and jokingly called himself a distant cousin. The sniper aimed his rifle and told him to back off. He fired, but Chinu healed instantly, leaving the sniper stunned. Chinu disarmed him and shot him in the shoulder. When the sniper retaliated with a machine gun, Chinu walked through the bullets unharmed. He demanded the sniper call his father, then uprooted trees and charged at him. Just as Chinu was about to land a final blow, another figure appeared and saved the sniper. Chinu realized the sniper had backup. When the newcomer tried to talk, Chinu knocked him aside. They revealed they were from the Demon Soul clan, users of possessed souls. Curious, Chinu followed them to their village. Locals eyed him with suspicion and led him to an elder soul hunter. The elder questioned who Chinu was. Despite the man's frail body, Chinu sensed immense power. A green-skinned being entered and was shocked to see Chinu the Horned One alive. It bowed respectfully and called Chinu master. Chinu remembered it from his journey through the space-time labyrinth and noted how much stronger he had become since then. Several cloaked figures appeared, including a demon named Bouquet. The demon scolded the others and declared he had unfinished business. Before he could escape, Chinu grabbed his neck and forced him to speak. Chinu even made him call him dad and shook him like a child. An elder asked if they knew each other, and Bouquet admitted that Chinu had once led them into battle. The elder asked Chinu what he wanted. Chinu said he wouldn't help for free and demanded compensation. The elder agreed and told Bouquet to guide him. Their goal was to defeat a soul hunter, and they needed all the help they could get. Chinu decided to alert the academy, and a student group soon arrived. But things had changed. It was now a trap. As the teacher led the students out, attackers ambushed them with a barrage of explosives. A demon protected the sniper from debris. The students escaped into the forest. When the sniper tried to shoot the teacher again, he summoned birds that knocked the gun aside. The students found their unconscious enemies and fled deeper into the forest. Soon after, Chinu appeared before the students, claiming to be their ally and demanding 500 coins each for protection. The students paid him. When their wounded teacher appeared, the fake Chinu joked about charging double. Suspicious, the teacher stabbed him, revealing he was a fake. The real Chinu was still elsewhere. The teacher turned out to be a soul hunter. One student pretended to thank her, only to stab her unexpectedly. The others realized they had walked into a trap. Meanwhile, the real Chinu traveled with Bouquet, who revealed that Chinu's identity had been exposed. Explosions echoed in the distance as Bouquet fled through a hatch. Chinu followed him underground, caught him, and demanded answers. Suddenly, a clone of Chinu appeared. It was another soul hunter trying to steal Chinu's powers. Chinu summoned his armor and declared that wouldn't happen. The hunter froze Chinu's legs with magic and summoned other demons. With no allies nearby, Chinu knew he'd have to win this fight alone. Just then, a stone hand emerged from the ground and grabbed Chinu. His team had arrived just in time to help. They stood in front of him, ready to face the enemy together. Seeing this, the Tiger Man smirked and said, "Let's see if your girls survive this." Tang Lian immediately sprang into action, telling him to shut up. She was about to stab him with her swords when she noticed a glowing barrier around his body. The tiger countered swiftly, throwing Tang Lian the mantis girl away. Yuli and Xiao Sha joined the battle. The tiger noticed something odd about their abilities, deciding to eliminate the girls first. He kicked Yuli aside as she charged at him. Then, leaping high into the air, he tried to dive attack her, but Xiao Sha stood in his way, raising a magical wall. The tiger smashed right through it. Suddenly, Tang Lian reappeared before him. Realizing he was outnumbered and surrounded, the tiger was forced to retreat. That's when Chinu stepped into the fight, smiling. "I've been waiting for you," he said. Before the tiger could react, Chinu shot into the air and slammed down with a powerful hand strike, splitting the tiger's body in two. A huge explosion followed, and the team quickly moved away from the battlefield. Chinu asked, "Where did that explosion come from?" Tang Lian replied nonchalantly, "I caused it. Just showing off." People who had watched the battle praised the team. When they returned to the academy, all of them received certificates for thwarting the enemy's plans and breaking the ambush. However, not everyone was happy. Some students were annoyed, thinking Chinu, a mere freshman, was getting too cocky. 3 days later, as Chinu was walking down the street, 4 boys stopped him. "Do you dare accept our challenge?" one of them asked. Chinu looked at them and smirked. "I recognize 3 of you: rooster, dog, and monkey. But who is the 4th? I'm a wolf, not a dog," shouted one. His green-haired friend calmed him down. "Ignore him. Chinu likes to provoke people." Chinu replied, "Look, if you want to fight, you should know I don't fight for free." "You've got it wrong," said the one with peacock feathers. "I'm Kanji from the Peacock tribe, a level 4 warrior. We came because we heard about your battle with the enemy and wanted to ask for advice." The wolf interrupted. "Yeah, right. We think your story's made up. If you're really strong, prove it." They taunted him, calling him scared. Chinu thought to himself, "Looks like people are getting jealous. That's why they're here." Calmly, he said, "I'm not fighting anyone. I'm broke. If someone gets hurt, I can't afford medical fees." One of the boys clenched his fists. "You really think you'd win, this isn't a duel? It's a mission challenge. We'll all get real missions from the academy. Whoever completes the mission better wins." Chinu replied, "So instead of fighting each other, we fight bad guys." "Exactly," said Kanji. "You better go prepare your team." Chinu shrugged. "Why would I need a team? You challenged me, not them." "Fine," they said. "Go solo. We'll work in teams. Your choice." Later, Chinu received his mission in a city called Redwood. His target was a man named Vault, last seen at a local bar. At the bar, Chinu ordered a drink. The bartender warned him, "You're from the academy, guarantee you this place is dangerous. You should leave." "I go where I want," Chinu said. "Just trying to protect you," the bartender replied. "This place is risky." Chinu placed money on the counter. "I'm paying for info, not a lecture." The bartender refused. "I'm not risking my life. If I hurt you, the government will come after me. But no one protects me if something happens." Chinu thought, "I'll find a way." Then he shouted loudly, "Where's Vault?" He picked a random guy and said, "You must be Vault. The academy sent me." The guy panicked. "What? I'm not Vault. You got the wrong guy." Chinu smirked. "Then help me find the real one." The man pleaded, "I swear, I don't know." Chinu warned him again. The guy resisted, saying, "Fine, looks like I'll have to fight back." The man used a strange touch attack. Everyone around suddenly felt like hugging each other instead of fighting. But Chinu wasn't affected. He was still sitting on the guy's back. The man panicked. "Why isn't this guy affected?" "I just want Vault," Chinu said. "Fine. Vault lives somewhere downtown. I don't know the exact spot." Chinu threatened him. The guy said, "You want to finish me off? But maybe those guys will." Just then, 4 or 5 masked people showed up and began firing. Chinu created a shield, protecting both of them. The man was stunned. You saved me. There was unfairness, Chinu said simply. I couldn't ignore it. The attackers tried to break the shield. Chinu dropped it and struck back, defeating 3 of them instantly. The last one ran. Chinu caught him and interrogated him. The man said Vault knew someone was coming and sent attackers in advance. I can make him talk, the captured guy offered. But I want money. Not a small amount. Chinu searched the fallen attackers, collected 31,000 coins, and handed 1,000 to the man. My name is Carlo, the man said. Let us go. Just then, a mark appeared on the forehead of the captive. They were being targeted by someone else. Chinu protected Carlo just in time. He noticed a hole in the wall. Someone had been hiding and had taken a shot. Chinu appeared behind the sniper and said, "You're not leaving." The attacker dodged and fled, thinking, "Who is this guy? He is too fast, too powerful." The man fired at a nearby woman and her child. Chinu saved them instantly. The attacker smiled. He protects innocents. I can escape now. But Chinu stayed behind to make sure they were safe. That guy used civilians just to escape. Carlo ran back. You just wrecked an entire bar. The police will be here soon. I'm on an official academy mission, Chinu said. They want to arrest me. Maybe not, Carlo agreed. But someone has to pay for the damages. Chinu panicked. Please help me. I have no money. Let me stay at your place. Carlo took him in. Here's a map of Redwood. Vault lives somewhere downtown. Maybe on the 9th floor of one of these buildings. But if the attacker warned him, he might already be gone. Chinu said, I'll check the 9th floor quickly before the signal reaches him. He teleported. Arriving, he found the place empty. No one's here. He walked to the balcony and saw women's underwear drying. Wait, does Vault have a wife, or is Vault a woman? Meanwhile, the other students who challenged Chinu arrived in Redwood, also assigned to take down Vault. But when they saw the mess, they were shocked. What happened here? Who caused all this? Suddenly, police showed up. You kids. You're under arrest. Wait. We're academy students. We came to defeat Vault. Exactly, said the police. You're from the academy and caused this chaos. Do you know how expensive the damage is? Even if the target is a genius or someone powerful, the group insists they'll get the job done. Then, their boss arrives, a golden rank fighter. He scoffs at their hesitation, saying, it's just a silver level mission, and you're already nervous if you can't complete this. Don't even dream of reaching my level. The team quickly replies, yes, we're not scared. Just being cautious. The boss then turns to Vault and asks, I heard some people are after you. What's going on? Vault responds, I'm just lying low for now. I'll handle them later. But the golden rank leader doesn't approve. In our group, we don't hide from trouble. We face it head on. You should be dealt with them already, he says. He then makes an announcement, whoever eliminates Vault's pursuers will be promoted. Everyone gets excited. He even tells Vault, if you settle this on your own, your rank will increase too. Vault confidently agrees, don't worry. I'll take care of it. Meanwhile, Chinu sneaks into Vault's area to scout, but finds no sign of him. He must have escaped quickly, Chinu thinks. As he turns to leave, he spots a man harassing a woman, demanding money. The woman begs, please, I have nothing. the man refuses to back off. That's when Chinu steps in, kicks the guy aside, and says, "How dare you bother a woman like this?" The woman thanks him but then suddenly pulls a weapon and attacks. Chinu blocks and defeats her easily. Laughing, he says, "First time a woman tried to trick me. Too bad I surprised her instead." Nearby, a frightened child watches everything unfold. Chinu reassures him, "Don't be afraid, everything's fine." But sensing the kid's dark energy, and remembering that his system collects negative energy from guilty individuals, he silently eliminates the child too. Chinu then yells, "Anyone else want to fight? Come out now." Soon, over 10 enemies appear. "All right then," he mutters. "Let's finish this." He battles through the night, defeating them all, gaining energy points, and feeling powerful. But just as he starts to relax, stronger enemies arrive, silver-level fighters. Instead of being afraid, Chinu gets excited. "Perfect. All three of you, come at me together," he says. The first to attack is a fighter with eagle-like powers. Though the aura is intense, Chinu blocks him bare-handed and counters with a devastating punch, sending the enemy flying. The eagle fighter is shocked by Chinu's strength. The eagle tries to retreat, but Chinu chases him. Meanwhile, another fighter, a girl with spider abilities, traps Chinu in a web. "Oh no, I've been tied up," he jokes. This feels like a weird drama scene. As he is trapped, one enemy attacks from behind while the eagle returns from another side. Surrounded, Chinu quickly digs underground to escape. His enemies look around, confused, until he pops out of the ground elsewhere. "I'm here. Catch me if you can," he taunts, appearing in random spots to mess with them. Eventually, Chinu draws his weapon to fight properly, but before he can use it, the enemies grab it. "We got it!" they cheer. But Chinu smirks, "Haven't you heard? Never touch a man's weapon or a woman's backside. You never know when something might fire." As he says this, the weapon fires accidentally, hitting one of the enemies. "Nice, one down," Chinu says, though the guy isn't completely out. Just then, the other two enemies charge at him again. "You're not getting away this time," they shout. Chinu, already tired, thinks, "How am I going to handle all three now?" The enemies, though, suspect he is faking fatigue and stay on guard. Chinu spits at one guy out of frustration, and shockingly, the spit burns his face, taking him down. "What the was my spit always this strong? Did I absorb a new power?" Chinu laughs, realizing he might have accidentally inherited a strange demon ability. The other two enemies start to panic. "We're top silver level fighters. No one's ever gone down from spit. What if he spits on us?" Too scared, they surrender. "We give up?" Chinu smiles, finally, some smart thinking. But suddenly, a hidden fourth fighter appears, a lizard-type shapeshifter. He transforms and strikes Chinu with a powerful, charged attack straight through the chest. "I did it! I took him down," the lizard declares proudly. "My charge attack gets stronger the longer I prepare it." He brags while the others argue, saying he only succeeded because Chinu was already weakened. As they plan to retrieve the body, Chinu suddenly gets up unharmed. He grabs the lizard, defeats him, and says, "Taking down that lizard was satisfying. Now, you two are next." The remaining enemies realize Chinu has transformed into something more, a terrifying, emotionless beast. Terrified, they try to run, but Chinu chases and defeats them one by one. From a distance, Vault watches and tries to shoot Chinu, hoping to go unnoticed. but Chinu catches the bullet mid-air and stares right at Vault. Uh-oh, Vault panics. He saw me. He remembers how Chinu once protected the public from his attacks and realizes that this time, Chinu won't hold back. As Vault thinks of an escape plan, Chinu suddenly appears before him. Vault panics and throws a flashbang. The light temporarily blinds everything, and Vault pulls out a weapon, but before he can shoot, Chinu grabs him and growls, "You're finished." Vault is stunned. "How did he find me?" Chinu calmly replies, "By your scent." With Vault defeated, Chinu loses control and shouts, "Bring more. I want to fight more." His yelling wakes up a girl nearby, who angrily says, "Who's shouting at night? People wake up annoyed." The girl starts recording him and says, "Everyone, report this troublemaker." When she mentions paying for the damage, Chinu suddenly panics, "Oh no. I don't have any money." He runs off and rushes to Carlos's place. Grabbing him by the collar, he begs, "Bro, how can I make money fast?" Carlos, confused, listens as Chinu explains everything: the fights, the damage, and the video evidence. Carlos sighs, "So you're broke and want to pay off the damage to avoid getting exposed?" "Exactly." Chinu replies. Carlos tries to escape, but Chinu catches and scolds him, giving him light smacks. "Why do you always hit me?" Carlos complains. "Because you're not helping either," Chinu yells. Suddenly, the radio announces breaking news: the dark door has opened again. Both of them realize this could be a chance to make money. Meanwhile, the city guards investigate the damage left behind. They're shocked to find blood from Vault, the Spider Woman, and the Eagle Fighter, all top-level killers. Who took down all these powerful people, they wonder. They ask Peacock, who says, "Our guy's good, but not that good." Just then, the girl who recorded the video shows up and shares the clip in full 4K. The guards gather to watch. But in the footage, Chinu makes a weird face, confusing everyone. Why is he making that goofy expression? Still, they decide to broadcast the video everywhere: radio, TV, newspapers, even satellites, to identify this mysterious fighter. A reward is also announced. Elsewhere, the Golden Rank boss watches the news, furious. "I sent our best to handle one guy, and now they're all gone, even our top silver fighters." His remaining members worry, "Without them, our plans will fall apart." The boss responds grimly, "We'll need reinforcements. Bring in new fighters." Finally, we return to Chinu, who is about to head toward a place called Dark Dagger, a portal to another world. The beings there aren't human. They're made of metal, iron, steel, brass, and they're incredibly strong. The place seemed strange and a bit abandoned when Chinu and Carlo arrived. As they looked around, some locals appeared and recognized Carlo. One of them asked, "Hey, we know you. Who's this guy with you?" Thinking quickly, Carlo lied, "He's my cousin, my uncle's son. His name is Diddy." The locals raised an eyebrow. "Diddy? What kind of name is that?" Staying in character, Chinu smiled and replied, "I've loved baby oil since I was a kid, so they started calling me Diddy. Plus, I really love to party." The locals found it weird but didn't question it much. "All right, come with us," they said. As they followed, Carlo whispered, "Are you insane?" "What kind of explanation was that?" Chinu replied, "Stay alert. Something about these people seems off." Soon, they came across a signboard with directions, something they hadn't seen before in this world. Intrigued, they followed the directions, which led them to a mine. Many tired and disappointed people were exiting the place. When Chinu asked what was inside, someone said, "Nothing but traps." We lost a lot of people. It's not worth it. But Chinu wasn't deterred. Trap or not, treasure is treasure, he said and ran toward the mine, confident that his space powers would let him escape any danger. On his way, Chinu accidentally bumped into a girl who looked part cat beast. She scolded him, "Can't you see where you're going, you blind guy?" She also recognized Carlo. Just then, another beast-type person with eagle-like features appeared and was surprised to see Carlo and Chinu. "You two are here too? Who's this guy?" he asked. "He's kind of related to me," Carlo said again. They decided to team up. Suddenly, the ground began to shake violently. Cracks opened up, and people started falling in, grabbing onto each other, but still slipping down. Even flying creatures fell. Chinu's group found themselves in one area, while the others landed elsewhere. The cat girl realized they were separated from the rest and joked that maybe their cousin's weight caused the ground to collapse. Carlo laughed along. She encouraged everyone to focus. After all, they were there to find treasure. Meanwhile, Chinu had landed on something soft. "This isn't the ground," he said. A bird beast beneath him groaned, "Get off me, my back's about to break." Chinu jumped up and joked, "That was close. Those old bones won't hold much longer." Another person warned, "There could be monsters down here." But an older man advised them to stay positive. As they looked around, they realized they were in an ancient tomb. It was vast and majestic, likely hiding something valuable. The system in Chinu's mind told him that there was powerful energy ahead, so he felt confident moving forward. They entered the main tomb and split up to search. Chinu was told to check near the central coffin. When asked if he found anything, he said dramatically, "Oh wow, it's amazing. I found nothing." Annoyed, the others snapped, "Why act so dramatic?" Then he shrugged, "I'll learn as I go." Suddenly, the coffin opened and a zombie-like creature emerged. While everyone ran, Chinu calmly pushed it back inside and said, "Bro, go back to sleep. We're in the middle of something." Everyone was stunned. "You're insanely strong." Chinu simply smiled, "Let's keep looking. There's more here." They found other bones and remains. One person even felt sick. They were impressed that Chinu had handled the zombie so easily. Then, one guy found an item and excitedly said, "This could sell for 3 million. Another guy dismissed it, saying, "No way. It's only worth 300,000. But they both knew it was valuable. Whispering among themselves, they planned to tell Chinu it was worth less and keep the profits. Chinu overheard and realized they were lying, just as Carlo had warned. Still, lacking experience, he stayed with the group for now. They opened several coffins but found nothing until the fourth. It had something strange on it. A ghost emerged. The old man panicked, saying regular attacks wouldn't work. He tried a fire attack, but the ghost froze it instantly. "Weak energy," she said. "I need strong energy." Then she looked at Chinu. You're different." Chinu got nervous and asked the system to strengthen him. The ghost's soul emerged, and Chinu's spirit separated from his body to face her. In spirit form, he saw her as a beautiful woman. "You're not like the others," she said. "I've been guarding this place for so long. You seem special." She offered to tell him about a mysterious, powerful figure if he did something for her. Chinu asked, "What do you want me to do?" She smiled, "Something simple. Just have a little fun with me." Chinu laughed, "You should be said that earlier." She clarified, it's just a foot massage. Take it slow, it hurts at first. As Chinu massaged her spirit, she sighed with relief and gave him 5 stars. You've made my day, she said. Chinu explained that he'd learned to comfort himself growing up with hardship. The ghost appreciated it but said her body was fading. My warmth attribute is what keeps me alive. Chinu asked, wait, you're a ghost, and you asked me for a massage? She nodded. Yes. I've been dead a long time. This helps me find peace. She offered him all her treasures. I won't need them after reincarnation. She warned Chinu to stay away from the immortal being who created everything. He had sacrificed many people, including her. Chinu reassured her, I'll handle him. You've earned peace now. As her spirit faded, she thought, only he could free me. I hope I meet him again in my next life. Chinu's soul returned to his body. The others were relieved and joked, hey, you sure your body's fine? Chinu laughed, saying, yeah, just gave her a massage and she moved on. They reunited with the other group, including Carlo and the cat girl. Chinu accidentally landed on the cat girl, joking, so soft. She scolded him. They were interrupted by tentacle-like roots attacking them. The roots came from a tree that drained energy from people, leaving only bones behind. The cat girl urged everyone to run, but they stayed. Let us deal with the tree, then get the treasure, they said. Carlo asked Chinu what he wanted to do. Chinu replied, I'm staying. I'll fight for the treasure. Activating his shield, Chinu attacked the tree, which retaliated fiercely. Carlo was amazed by Chinu's strength. As the tree released an energy blast, Chinu felt strange, like he was getting a relaxing massage. Instead of hurting him, the attack strengthened his mind. Chinu smiled. I'm enjoying this. Thanks for the power. He fought back, overwhelming the tree, and smashed it to the ground, cracking the earth. Carlo warned him the ground was breaking, but it was too late. Chinu and the tree fell to the floor below. Down there, a group of killers awaited, including Golden Killer and Iron Tiger. What are you doing here? Golden Killer asked. Iron Tiger replied, same as you, looking for treasure. A healer nearby wondered if he'd survive with so many dangerous people around. One of them silently vowed, I must complete my mission for the Holy Lord, no matter who stands in my way. The main character begins firing his weapon, but his enemies swiftly dodge the bullets. As the battle intensifies, a healer tries to sneak up from behind. However, the protagonist notices this and quickly teleports behind the healer, launching a surprise attack. Iron Tiger steps in to defend his teammate. Golden observes the situation, thinking to himself, what is up with this guy? He's coming at us from every direction, front, back, using weapons or just his fists. Even with the 3 of us, we can't keep up. If we don't take him out now, he'll be a massive threat later. Meanwhile, Carlo hears the fighting and realizes the protagonist is still alive. Surprised but relieved, he says, I thought he was finished, but it looks like he is still kicking. Carlo is thrilled to have found a stash of gold and silver and tells his group they can split the treasure when they reunite. The cat girl warns him that the dog team may attack, and just as expected, dog soldiers prepare to strike. Carlo appears confused, so the cat girl explains, they don't see us as allies. If you have more treasure, they'll try to steal it. She reassures Carlo, promising to protect him. As the dog team approaches, she prepares a flash bomb. Close your eyes, she warns, and tosses the device. It doesn't explode but emits a blinding light that disorients their enemies. Let us move, she says, grabbing Carlo's hand. They escape quickly, following Carlo's suggestion to meet a distant relative who might help them gather reinforcements. Back at the fight, the protagonist continues to evade and counter the three attackers. Golden tells his allies, "He's focused on me, attack him from behind." But the protagonist uses his teleportation skill again, appearing behind them and saying, "You can't sneak up on me. I'll always be a step ahead." He then launches another attack, but this time Golden retaliates with a much stronger blow, finally landing a hit. Still, the protagonist isn't done. He spits into his hand, muttering, "This is my final move." The liquid ignites, alarming the attackers. The burning spreads, and the enemy starts screaming in pain. It's not over. The fire's just getting started, the protagonist warns. He conjures a blade from his burning hand and starts slashing at Golden, who tries to dodge. Just as he is about to land a finishing blow, Iron Tiger intervenes again. Golden, now in excruciating pain from the burning liquid, decides to cut off his own hand to stop the agony. He warns the healer, "Be careful, this stuff is deadly." Healer responds confidently, "As long as my sword is intact, I'm safe." Chinu, unfazed, says, "Oh really?" and unleashes a toxic attack aimed at Healer and the others. As they try to block it, they notice Iron Tiger starting to melt. The swords themselves begin to corrode. The protagonist mocks them, "Where do you think you're going?" and attacks again. The group is horrified to see their weapons dissolving. Iron Tiger, with half his face burned, yells, "If I'm going down, I'm taking you with me. Hand over the immortal gem." He lunges at Chinu, who realizes Iron Tiger's strength has increased. Struggling to keep up, Chinu decides it's time to use a forbidden technique, the blood-balling demon. The transformation boosts his power immensely, and he easily throws Iron Tiger aside. Golden and Healer, watching this, realize they're completely outmatched. "You forced me to do this," Chinu says coldly. "I was going easy, but you pushed too far." Iron Tiger, now panicking, wonders how he can stop this monstrous power. Before he can act, Chinu launches a brutal assault, pummeling him without mercy. Iron Tiger begs his teammates for help. Golden, realizing they're doomed, pulls out a small bottle and throws it toward Iron Tiger. "No, not that!" Iron Tiger yells as the bottle shatters, releasing fire that engulfs both him and Chinu. Everything is ablaze. Healer says in shock, "Tiger's gone." But Golden shrugs, "At least that boy's gone too, right? We made it out alive, that's what matters." Healer agrees, and they prepare to flee. Suddenly, from within the flames, Tiger's voice echoes, "I won't let you go. I'll have my revenge." Shocked, the two realize Iron Tiger is somehow still alive, leaving behind a terrifying warning. Meanwhile, Chinu is still alive, completely unaffected by the fire. He realizes this isn't normal fire, it burns not only flesh but the soul. Anyone consumed by it won't reincarnate. Good thing I absorbed those demon essences. That's probably why I survived, he thinks. But as the fire keeps burning his body, he grows concerned. If this continues, I'll die too. He tries asking a nearby survivor for help, but they're all too scared and flee. Chinu chases after Golden, pleading, "Wait. How do I stop this fire?" But when he touches Golden, the fire spreads to him and he burns to death. "I just wanted to ask him a question," Chinu says in disbelief. Healer manages to escape further, but Chinu breaks through a wall to stop him. I'm not here to hurt you, just tell me how to stop the fire. Seeing a chance to escape, Healer lies, I don't know, but I'll find someone who does. Chinu pretends to let him go, then suddenly kills him. If you think I'm letting you live after lying, think again. Now all three enemies are dead. But the fire keeps burning, and Chinu is growing weaker. He fears he may not make it. Just then, the cat girl and Carlo arrive. We found tons of loot. Wait, what's wrong with your body? They notice Chinu's body is slowly burning away. More team members arrive, pretending to be allies, saying, let us split the loot, we're all on the same side. Carlo urges, Chinu, show them how strong you are. But Chinu's body is nearly gone. An old eagle mocks, you said some hero would save you, but he's the one being burned alive. The cat girl watches in despair, I thought he'd protect us, but now he's gone. And that's where this chapter ends.